والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. In this lecture I'm going to show you how to install ROS2 Humble on Ubuntu 22.04. So this is a brand new Ubuntu machine that I have just installed, and I'm going to show you all the process in all kind of details, and you will see that the installation of ROS2 or ROS in general is simple. I usually received a lot of questions from the students facing several issues that the installation didn't work and the configuration of workspace didn't work and so on. And this is mainly due to missing some of the important steps. It's basically just following the ROS2 tutorial installation tutorial, which I'm going just to get started for the installation, and then going through all the process, making everything properly done, and you will get it done. So let's get started now. First of all, I need to open. So this is the first time I'm using this machine. It's a brand new machine that I installed. It's 22.04. Of course, as you know, every ROS version or ROS2 version, it's available on a particular Ubuntu distribution. So for the ROS2 Foxy, it's available on Ubuntu 20.04, and for ROS2 Humble, it's available on the Ubuntu 22.04, which I'm having right now. So I'm going to open a terminal, and I would like to have this terminal always available. So I'm going to add it to the favorite. I prefer to have it here. And we're gonna open the browser. Okay, so let me skip all these steps. That's because I'm using this machine for the first time. Okay, and we are going to head to ROS2 Humble install. Okay, I will open my terminal here. Let me make it on the full length. And here you can find the installation of ROS2 Humble. So we just need to follow the steps. You can install, of course, ROS2 can be installed on Ubuntu, on Windows, on Mac OS. But here we are interested to have installation on Ubuntu. We're not going to install from sources, but we're going to use Debian packages, which is recommended. So we don't need to compile from sources. So these are the installation steps. So first of all, we need to set local to make sure we have local which supports UTF-8. Okay, so all you need is just to copy these different commands over here to get it started, and we need to update our system. Type the password, and we just need to wait a little bit. So let me increase a little bit the size. I will open the preference here. We can increase the text size by using custom font, and maybe just a little bit to make it more readable on the video. Yeah, that looks better now. So let me go to the next command. This one. So I'm doing this like step by step. I'm not making any editing, just to go through all the different things slowly for complete beginners, because usually when in previous videos I usually received several questions from the students that this didn't work, this actually has issues, and I'm going to show you what kind of things can actually bring issues as we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it right now, and we move to the next step. We need to install some additional packages. Okay, so it's basically copy pasting from the documentation. We don't need to improvise, or the most important thing is that you don't miss any step. If you miss any step, there is very likely almost 100% you're going to have issues sometime later when you complete your installation. Add the command universe to all repositories, it's fine. So all of these packages are just prerequisites, and it's starting from now. We're going to start installing ROS2 Humble. So like any ROS2 installation, first of all you need to install the GPG key, okay, to be able to use apt-get install to install the ROS2 packages. Okay, we'll make system update first and install curl. So curl will be used to download some packages from here to download the GPG keys. So we need to press yes. And then add to the repository your sources. I will copy from here and paste it. You can see the installation so far is going very smooth. And now we will start with the installation of ROS2 packages. So first of all, we need to update. As already mentioned, don't miss any step. If you miss any step, it's very likely that the installation will fail. Like for example, missing sudo apt update or anything else. Okay, likely it's gonna have issues. And now we need to upgrade. Okay, I'm seeing some issues here still. Okay, I'm just going to continue and see later on if there is any issue. Okay. Okay, so now the upgrade has completed. Everything looks fine. And now we are ready to go. Okay, let me also make just another update just in case. And now we are ready to install the ROS2 Humble. So there are different ways on how we can install ROS. We can install like the full version containing ROS, RVs, demos, and tutorials using sudo apt install ROS Humble desktop, which is the recommended one, and this one we are going to install it. Or also we can install just the ROS base. It's the bare bones, only the communication libraries, but no RVs, no demos, no additional packages, which can be downloaded later on. So I'm going to download this one to install ROS Humble desktop. These are some warning. Okay, in principle it should be not a big issue. And now I'm going to install ROS Humble desktop, unable to locate ROS Humble desktop package. Okay, so now this is the first issue. It looks like it's an issue, although we've done everything. So let's see if we have missed any. We have installed. Okay, maybe the GPG were not done. Okay, let me check again. We should not have any issue with the sudo apt update. So this usually happens when there are issues with the GPG. Okay, it's good. Now we don't have any issue. So this is one of the installation problems. Probably I didn't copy paste this properly the first time, but now it seems to be working. And this is why it didn't work from the very beginning. So this tutorial is different from my previous tutorials. I'm just doing it like from scratch. I didn't prepare this in advance just to check if there is any issue, so it will be exposed to the learners. But now we have solved it. I just made the GPG key again. And okay, let me just add this back. I will make update again just to make sure things are properly done. Okay, so we're doing fine. And now in principle, if I go back to the ROS install ROS Humble desktop, okay, it's working. Now it's going to download 3 GB of additional packages. I'm going to press yes and just wait a little bit. So the previous upgrade took me a long time on my machine, almost a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, around 10 minutes. although my machine is powerful, so it may take more or less depending on how powerful is your machine. Also, the installation of ROS Humble Desktop will depend on how fast is your internet connectivity, and also how fast is your processor on your laptop or desktop. So let's wait a little bit and come back after the installation is done. So congratulations, now ROS2 Humble is installed. And as we already mentioned, it's installed in /opt/ros/humble. Now imagine that I type ROS2. Okay, it will say command not found, although we have already installed ROS2 as we already observed. So what's the problem? In order to activate ROS2 in your workspace or in your system, you need to source a particular bash file that is called setup.bash. And setup.bash is located at /opt/ros/humble and then setup.bash. If I go back here, okay, we open computer /opt/ros/humble, and here there is a file that is called setup.bash. It's a bash file, setup.bash, this one. Okay, so this one we would like to execute it in order to enable the ROS2 workspace. So let's try this. Source /opt/ros/humble and then setup.bash. Okay, if I make ROS2, ROS2. Okay, now it gives us some help information. Okay, so ROS2 now exists over here. We can make some commands. Okay, I will anticipate on some commands that we will see later. ROS2 node list, for example, or ROS2 topic list. These are two commands we will explore in detail later on. Okay, and we can see that they are enabled. Now, imagine that I will close this one and open it back again. And I would like to do the same thing, ROS2. It will say again ROS2 command not found. What I have to do, I have to copy again this command and write it here, and then again typing ROS2 will be activated. So every time you close, you will lose the activation of ROS2. Okay, so if you want to overcome this issue, you need to put it into the .bash rc file. Okay, .bash rc, it's a file that will be automatically executed whenever you open a new terminal. To do that, you can do gedit.bash rc. Okay, and it will open the .bash rc file, which is located into the home directory. Okay, it's a file that looks like this one, and we will source that information just down below here. I will write source /opt/ros/humble /setup.bash, or you can just copy paste it from there. Okay, just to make sure you don't make any error. I didn't make any error, that's fine. Now I will close this one. I will close the terminal, open this back again. If I put ROS2, everything is up and running, so I don't need to source this instruction every time I open a new terminal, because the .bash rc already contains so anything that you would like to execute whenever you open a terminal, you can just add it to the .bash rc file, because this one is going to be executed anytime that you open a new terminal. Okay, and now finally, to just make sure that your installation is working fine, you can make some tests. For example, you can try to run the following node. Okay, we can do ROS2 run, and then there are some demo nodes that comes by default with the installation. Okay, demo node package, so demo node cpp, and then we will use Talker. This is just the Hello World publisher node. We will develop it later, so everything is good. And if you are a ROS1 user, so observe here that we didn't start any master node like we used to do that in ROS1. We used to start ROS core first and then start other nodes. Now we can start any node immediately without the ROS master node, because the ROS master was a single point of failure and it was removed from the first version of ROS2. So you don't need to have any central node to coordinate the creation and the communication between other nodes. This is replaced by the DDS, which is now the middleware for ROS2. Okay, so now we have completed the installation and we are ready to go to start working on the configuration of the workspace. Okay, so now let's go to the tutorials and demos. This is the next step after the installation of ROS2. First of all, we need to create a workspace, we need to create a package, and also there are a few things that we need to finish the installation. So let's start by Qualcomm build packages. In order to build packages in ROS1, we used to execute catkin make, or also known as catkin tools. But in ROS2, the new build package tool is called Qualcomm, and we need to install it. It's not installed by default with the ROS2 installation. Catkin tools were installed by default in ROS1, but in ROS2, Qualcomm has to be installed separately. Okay, so let's start by install. So install ROS2. We already done this. We need to install Qualcomm first. Okay, so we need to install Qualcomm using this command. Okay, let me finish this. I will make paste and I will install it. I will make yes. So this should be fast to install. Okay, also there are a few things you need to make sure that Python 3 is installed. Okay, it's already installed here. That's fine. And now after completing the installation of Qualcomm, after completing the installation of ROS2, we are ready to create a workspace. So a workspace is a directory with a particular structure. It's like the main table where we are going to organize all our projects. And a project in ROS is called a package. Okay, we will understand all these concepts later on when we talk about workspaces and packages. But in order to create a package, so it's simple. We need to create a new folder. So here, to create a new folder, you can do it in different ways. You can go to the home directory and come here and make a new folder, ROS2, like this, ROS2 WS. It means ROS2 workspace. And here you can make ROS2, and inside you'll make SRC. Okay, that's the way how you can do it. Okay, now if you make ls, you will find the ROS2 workspace here, folder created. Of course, it's still not a workspace because we need to compile it using Qualcomm. Okay, but this is the way how we can create the folders if you are new to Ubuntu, or you can just follow the command line using mkdir to create a new directory. -p it's for recursive directories, and here tilde is for the home directory, and you can make ROS2 WS SRC. And now if we make ls, we will find ROS2 WS created, and inside cd SRC, cd ROS2 WS, and inside you will find SRC. Okay, so let me go back. I'm going to delete this one. So I'm not going to name you can give any name to the workspace, but because in the Foxy version I have created what we call the dev workspace, so I'm going to be consistent. So for you want to follow the course, you can try your code whether in Humble or in Foxy using the same workspace name, but of course you can give it any name. You can give the name that you want, and later on you need to change the path as per the name that you have chosen. So let me now create dev ws mkdir -p tilde dev ws, and here src. Okay, so cd dev, and let me check inside. We have the src folder, and here I'm going to do Qualcomm build. Qualcomm build, it was not found. Oh, sorry, I made the spelling error, so it's Qualcomm build. Okay, summary, 0 packages, finished. There is no package inside, so it just compiled. And now if I go back to this workspace that we have created, now it has 3 folders: the log folder, the install folder, and the build folder. This means that it was compiled. And in the SRC folder, I still did not create any project. It means I did not create any package yet. Okay, so we are done now with the creation of the workspace. We will come back to this later on to discuss this in detail. Okay, now let's finish a few configurations. So there is also the callcon-cd that allows you to quickly change the current directory of your shell to the directory of the package. Okay, so as an example, callcon-cd, some ROS packages will quickly bring you to the directory that you want without having to go through several cd operations. So in order to do that, we just need to copy this into the .bash rc. Okay, and if I go now to the .bash rc, gedit .bash rc, I will find that these 2 commands were exported here. Okay, so I have this one, this command, and this command. So let me try it now. I can close this one and open it back. If I make callcon cd, and I want to go, for example, standard msgs package. This is one of the packages that comes with the default installation of ROS. It works. So it took me directly to /opt/ros/humble/share/std/msgs. Okay, so now we can also set up the callcon tab completion, which make auto completion of the commands. Okay, in the same way, you just need to copy paste this command here. If you go now to the gedit .bash rc, you will find that it was added over here. Okay, so in total we have added 4 commands here. So this is very important. If you don't add this command, in this case you will not be able to activate or execute any ROS2 command. And these 2 they are for callcon cd to move directly and very fast to a particular package name, and this one is for callcon autocomplete. So if you have made all these steps in this way, so your installation of ROS2 is successful and complete. Now I'm going to give you a few more configuration to your environment, some practices that I do. If you observe, I have written several times gedit.bash rc, and we're going to always write callcon build in order to compile a workspace or to compile packages. Like for example, I did here /dev. I will need to go several times to /dev. These are repetitive commands, and it will sometimes take time in order to write all of them. So what I usually do is actually I do some shortcuts. Okay, I do some shortcuts, and these shortcuts I will put them into the .bash rc file. So let me show you what I will do. gedit.bash rc. Okay, so you see this command, it will take a few seconds, and when you start coding you want to save as much time as possible. So a good practice is to add aliases, okay, for the things that you type so often. Like for example, I will add alias. So usually I use gb to open the .bash rc file. gb is like gedit.bash rc, the b is for the .bash rc file. And here I'm going to add gedit and then .bash rc like this. And we can use this notation. So this means it has always to refer to the home directory. Okay, let me try this one now. Okay, if I remove that, so if I write now gb, it will open this bash file. So because I made a shortcut. Now, even if you go to another directory like this one, src, I am not in the home directory now. If I type gb, if you type, for example, gedit .bash rc, so in this case it will open a blank file, a new file, because it will open just a new file inside the src. But the file that we really look for is located at the home directory. Okay, so it's here. If I do gedit.bash rc, it's going to open. But now with the shortcut, in the way I've done it, if you go to /dev src, for example, if you make gb, it will always refer to the file that is located in the home directory. So this is one of the convenience that you will have when you define aliases like this. So I will define other aliases. Okay, I usually use cm for compiling, because in the era of ROS1 it was called catkin make. So I used cm for catkin make, but now to keep the same convention for myself, I will use this for calling catkin build. Of course, you can change it to cb if you want. Now this shortcut, you can define it based on your own taste. I usually use cdc in order to go to the workspace. So here it will be /dev ws. This is cdc, and I usually use cls in order to clear my terminal. So these are the main commands that I used to do. And now let me just try them. So now at least you understand my convention if you follow my course. If I do cdc, okay, there is an issue. Is a directory? Yeah. So I made an error in the alias. No problem. I will fix it, because here I need to make cd/dev. So cd moving to /dev ws. Okay. So let me try it again now. Now it was fixed. cdc. It takes me here. I will make cm. It will call build. cls. It will just clear the terminal. Okay, so it's pretty much working now. So the last thing is to install your editor and maybe some other tools if you want. So for the editor, I highly recommend to use VS Code. It's one of the best, if not the best. It's very convenient. It's a very popular IDE. There are others like Eclipse or for example Sublime. Sublime is also good, but Visual Studio Code provides a lot of functionalities and can be easily customized as per the need of the developer. It's very simple. You can download it as a Debian here, okay, since you work on Ubuntu. So after the download of the VS Code, we can go here to downloads, and we will run it, open with another application, because by default it will open with the archive manager, and we don't want to use that. So you just need open with other application and use software install, select. So it will open the Ubuntu software installation. It will take a little bit of time to load the application. And now we have VS Code. We just click install. We need to type the password. And finally it will start installing the VS Code. So I really recommend to use VS Code. It provides you a lot of functionality for customizing your code, the formatting of your code, and you can install several add-ons and plugins that help you optimize the programming and development performance, and also experience as well. So it's already installed now. We have almost 100 megabyte installed. So let me close. If you want to open VS Code, we can go here and write VS Code. Okay, it will appear. And this is how it looks like. Okay, so we'll keep this for later when we will start doing programming. And I really recommend that you add it to the favorite here. So whenever you need it, okay, even you close from here, you will find it on the left tab. Okay, so that's pretty much it about the installation. These are all the different things that I've done, that I do usually. I also prefer to use Chrome, but of course everyone has his preference. I will download Chrome right now. accept and install. Let me check if it was downloaded here. Yes, Chrome is downloaded. I will make open with other application and software install. I will install right now. Okay, so Google Chrome was also installed, 93.7 megabyte. Okay, let me close it. Okay, so one last thing also, we will use terminal several times, and here the problem with terminal, if you add other terminals, so one will hide the other. Okay, so I will propose you a better terminal that you can use and you can download. It's called Terminator. Okay, so and to do that, you can make sudo apt install Terminator. This is a very nice terminal that you can split horizontally and vertically. Okay, so I'm going to install it, and then I will give you a small script, so a small text file configuration file that will give you the same configuration as I have. I will divide Terminator into 4 sections, 2 horizontally and 2 vertically. Now it is installed, and we can run it using Terminator, or also we can find it here as Terminator as well. Terminator. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So by default it has only one terminal, but you can easily split it vertically and horizontally like this. Okay, so you can write code, especially we need to open several terminals. You can even split this terminal horizontally, you can split it vertically. You can have any configuration, especially when you need to open multiple terminals at the same time. The problem now, if I close this one, close terminals, and I will open it again, okay, using terminal here. Okay, let me first just add it to the favorite. Add to the favorite here. So I will put it on top of terminal here. So if I open this back again, it will come back to the default configuration. So you can go and configure this manually if you want. I think here there are preferences, and you can specify which layout you want to have. Just to facilitate the things for you, I have already done this, and it's a matter of adding a configuration file into a particular directory as follow. Okay, so I will share with you the configuration file for Terminator to be subdivided into 4 sections. Okay, I just need to select and copy all of this configuration file. So now, in order to open the configuration file, I'm going to type gedit, and I will refer to the home directory, and then /.config. It's a hidden file, /terminator. Terminator. Make sure not to make any spelling error. If you make any spelling error, it will not go to work. And /config. Now, doing that, this is the default configuration file, which will only open one window in the layout. I'm going to delete it, and then I will paste my configuration file, and you will see the result. I will close everything and then open again Terminator, and you will see now it has by default 4 terminals open, and I made it also transparent background. So for example, if sometimes you open gedit, okay, and you make it in the background, so if you have some code here and so on, you can still have a look at it through the terminal. It's transparent, as you can see over here. Of course, you can change the layouts if you want. You can go here to preference and make any change for the colors, for the profiles. You can change the colors, you can change anything that fits your personal preferences. So that's pretty much it now. This is the complete installation I usually do to get started working with ROS or ROS2. Okay, so first of all, we have installed ROS2. We have then installed Colcon. We created a workspace. We compiled it using Colcon build. I also mentioned to you how to create different aliases to have fast access to commands that are repetitive, like for example, going to the dev workspace, to the ROS2 workspace, or for example compiling, or for example doing any other thing. And finally, we have installed VS Code, we have installed Google Chrome, and terminator. Now we are ready to get up and running with ROS2, and we're going to start with the command lines, the ROS2 computation graph, and then we will start with the programming work on Python and C++.